He made me leave with my baby in the rain. Now his tears can't bring me back. Please stay with me as I tell my story. And please, do not forget to support our channel by subscribing to our channel, liking our videos, and sharing your loved ones. Your support means the world to us. Now to our story. It was raining, the kind of rain that makes your socks wet even inside your shoes. Cold and sharp like it wanted to hurt you. I stood on the porch, my baby screaming against my chest, and he just stared at me. No emotion, no regret, just cold eyes and a trash bag in his hand. Take your stuff and go, he said, like I was a stranger who'd stayed too long. You should have listened when I said I wasn't ready to be a dad. I froze. The baby hiccuped through his cries, burying his tiny face into my shirt. I wanted to scream. I wanted to ask why, but my throat felt locked. My hands were shaking, but I tightened my grip on my baby. He looked so small, so helpless. And the man who once kissed my stomach while talking about names now wouldn't even meet my eyes. I thought maybe this was a bad dream. Maybe if I just stood there long enough, he'd say he was sorry, that he didn't mean it, that he was stressed, that he'd hold us and bring us inside. But he didn't. He shoved the trash bag toward me again. You can stay at your mom's or something, he muttered. I need space. My mom died last year, I whispered, not even sure why I said it. He didn't respond, just turned around and walked back inside. I stood there in the rain, baby in one arm, trash bag in the other. The door closed behind him like a gunshot. No goodbye. No look back. I walked. I didn't even know where I was going at first. I just knew I had to get away from that house, from that man, from whatever kind of love I thought we had. My baby cried, and I just kept whispering, "It's okay. Mommy's got you," over and over like a prayer. We passed a neighbor's house, and someone pulled their curtain aside to watch, but no one came out. No one helped. By the time I found a bench at the bus stop, my legs were numb, and I was soaked through. The baby had stopped crying. He was quiet now, sucking his thumb, eyes puffy. That's when I decided. I wasn't going to beg. I wasn't going to break. He wanted space. I'd give him space. But when I came back, it wouldn't be to ask for anything. It would be to take everything. The motel smelled like old cigarettes and bleach. The carpet was sticky in spots, and the air conditioner made a sound like it was choking. But it was the only place that would take $42 cash and didn't ask questions. I checked in without looking the clerk in the eye. He barely looked up either, just slid me a key and mumbled something about ice machine. The room was small, 2 beds, 1 stained chair, and a mirror that had scratches across the bottom like someone had punched it. I laid my baby on one of the beds, still swaddled from the walk, and sat next to him, too afraid to even take off my shoes. It was almost midnight, but I couldn't relax. Every little noise outside made me flinch. Doors slamming, a baby crying down the hall, loud footsteps, laughter that didn't sound kind. I pulled the drawer open beside the bed, looking for anything that might make me feel safer. There wasn't a Bible like I expected, just a takeout menu and an old plastic pen. I checked my bag and found a steak knife I'd grabbed without thinking from the kitchen before leaving. I didn't even remember packing it, but I was glad I had. I held it in my hand, sat upright on the edge of the bed, and stared at the door, just in case. My baby stirred a little in his sleep. His tiny fist curled around a piece of my hoodie. His breathing was steady. Safe, at least for now. My phone buzzed on the bedside table. Not him. It never was. But his mother again. You left him? With the baby? What is wrong with you? Another text followed a minute later. You're being dramatic. He just needs time to think. I turned the phone face down. I didn't reply. I wouldn't give them the satisfaction. I grabbed the pen from the drawer and tore a blank page from the back of a flyer. And I started to write. I didn't know what I was writing, just that I had to. Every ugly thought, every hurt, every name she called me, every time he rolled his eyes when I asked for help with the baby. I wrote like I was building something, like if I could get it all on paper, maybe I could survive the night. The knife was still in my hand. My baby was still asleep. I didn't cry. I wouldn't. Not tonight. Not crying was the only part of me that still felt like power. It was only 3 days later. I was sitting on the motel bed, my baby lying beside me, babbling at the ceiling like he was having a conversation with the light. I hadn't slept much. My back ached from being tense all night, but I was getting used to the room's strange smell. I was scrolling through Instagram, not really thinking, just trying to feel something normal. Then I saw it. A friend of a friend had posted a group photo. Nothing unusual, but then I noticed someone tagged him. I tapped. It took me straight to her page. A girl I'd seen once months ago. She used to hang around his job. Always too friendly. I used to tell myself not to be paranoid. Her profile picture was her on our porch. Our porch. I felt my stomach twist, but I kept scrolling. And then I saw it, the photo that cracked something inside me. She was standing in my kitchen, smiling, holding a coffee mug I bought. Her hair was wet, and she was wearing the gray robe I used to wear every morning after feeding the baby. Behind her, on the kitchen counter, was the little bottle warmer I used every night. And just to the side, barely visible but definitely there, my baby's high chair. That was our home. That was my life. And she was living in it like I never existed. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just stared at the screen, heart pounding, hands shaking. I clicked through more photos. She had stories saved, videos of her cooking in the kitchen, laughing at some dumb TikTok dance, sitting on our couch, her feet tucked under her. I knew every angle of those rooms. I knew where the carpet had a stain. She'd moved in. 3 days. 3. He didn't just kick me out. He had someone else already lined up to take my place. I started taking screenshots. Every post. Every video. Every comment where she joked about her new man. I didn't know what I was going to do with it yet, but I knew one thing. I wasn't going to let this slide. I had thought the worst thing he could do was throw me out with our baby. I was wrong. The worst thing was how easy it was for him to pretend I'd never been there at all. Fine. He wanted to pretend. Let's see how real things got when I turned his perfect little world into a mess he couldn't hide. I used to be quiet. I used to think staying silent made me strong. But that was before he threw me out in the rain with our baby. Before he moved his side chick into my house. I wasn't quiet anymore. He was a manager at some mid-level tech company, always bragging about how important he was, how hard he worked, how much everyone respected him. Funny thing is, I remembered him once saying they had a strict policy about relationships between managers and their team. Something about professionalism, boundaries, that kind of talk. He even laughed about a guy who got fired over it once. So I started digging. Back when we were together, we had a shared Google Drive for bills, receipts, baby stuff. He forgot about that. Or maybe he just didn't care. Either way, he never disconnected it. Inside, I found screenshots. Messages he sent her during work hours. Photos. Jokes about sneaking off in the supply room. Voice notes. All dated, all easy to verify. I took my time. I organized everything into a neat little folder. Timestamps, proof of her reporting directly to him, even emails with attachments labeled private. I created a burner email and sent it all to HR. No name, no return address. Just facts. Then I waited. A week passed. I didn't hear anything. Then one morning my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered out of habit. It was his mother. She was crying. "Why would you do this?" she said. "He's your son's father." I said nothing. "You're destroying his career," she sobbed. "You're going too far." I waited until she was done talking. Then I hung up. She didn't call back. Later that day, I checked the side chick's Instagram. All her office selfies were gone. She'd scrubbed her page. That night, a friend who still worked with him texted me. "He's under investigation." HR pulled him into a meeting. "They're going through everything." I didn't reply. I held my baby, gave him his bottle, and watched the ceiling fan turn in slow circles. He thought he could replace me and get away with it. Thought I'd just cry and disappear. But I still had a voice. And I was done wasting it on apologies. He handed me a storm. Now he can drown in it. It was raining again. Not as cold as before, but steady. Soft enough to soak through clothes without you noticing at first. I was in the kitchen of the new apartment, bouncing the baby on my hip while reheating leftover pasta. My friend was out, and the baby had just stopped fussing after a long nap. Then came the knock. Not a polite one. Hard. Desperate. Like someone panicked. I walked to the door, looked through the peephole. And there he was. Drenched. Hair dripping into his eyes. Shirt stuck to his chest. He looked thinner. Or maybe just smaller. His hand hovered in the air like he wasn't sure whether to knock again. I didn't open it. "Please," he said, voice muffled through the door. "I know you're in there." I said nothing. I made a mistake," he choked. "She's gone. Everyone's gone. I lost my job. I lost." He leaned forward, resting his forehead against the wood. "I lost you." The baby stirred in my arms. I rocked him gently and stepped back from the door. "I miss our family," he said. I didn't know what I was doing. I was stupid. "Please. Just talk to me." I stared at the door, at the spot where the paint was chipped near the bottom. My hand tightened around my son's back. I thought of the night he pushed me out. The bag. The rain. My son screaming. No money. No help. He made a choice. Now it was my turn. I opened the door just enough for him to see me. He stepped forward like he was about to walk in. I held up a hand. He stopped. Water ran down his face. His lips trembled. "Please," he whispered. I didn't speak. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just looked at him. Then, slowly, I shut the door in his face. No slamming. No drama. Just a soft click. I stood behind it, watched through the peephole as he fell to his knees, right there on the mat. Rain soaking him to the bone. He called my name. Once. Twice. Over and over. 17 minutes. I timed it. Then he stopped, sat there for a moment, and finally walked away, head down, steps slow. My baby let out a tiny sigh and fell back asleep against my chest. I walked back to the kitchen. The pasta was warm. I didn't look out the window. I didn't look back. I could have blocked him. I thought about it plenty of times. After everything he did, it would have been the easiest thing in the world. A single tap, silence forever. But I didn't. Instead, I cleaned up my Instagram, deleted the crying selfies, the black screens with sad quotes, the late-night rant. I started over. My first post was me and my son at the park. We were both smiling. I made sure the light hit just right. Sun on our cheeks, the baby in his little bear hoodie, giggling in my lap. Caption: peace looks good on us. I knew he saw it. He was still following, still watching, didn't even bother hiding it. He liked the photo. No comment, just a quiet tap that said, I see you. That was the beginning. I started sharing little victories. Me signing up for community college classes. A photo of my books and a cup of coffee, tagged #momgoals. A story of me studying while my baby napped beside me. Then there were the friend pics. Group shots. Me laughing at a table, nails done, hair curled. I hadn't felt that alive in months, but I made sure to capture it when I did. Sometimes there'd be a hand in the frame. Not too much. Just enough. A guy's arm reaching across the table. A blurred profile beside me on the couch. A caption like, good company, great coffee. No names. No details. Just hints. He watched all of it. Liked almost everything. Never said a word. That silence was louder than anything. I could picture him sitting there, phone in hand, scrolling. Seeing the life I was building without him. A life that looked brighter, cleaner, lighter. Not perfect. Never perfect, but strong. And that was the point. I wanted him to see the woman he thought he broke. Thriving. Loving her son. Moving forward. Not bitter. Just better. I never posted about him. Never called him out. Never played the victim. I didn't need to. Every smile was a reminder. Every happy photo a quiet, elegant kind of revenge. He gave up on us. I gave us everything. Letting him watch. That was my power. Blocking him would have been mercy. But I wanted him to see it all. Every win. Every laugh. Every day we grew stronger without him. Because he needed to know. I didn't just survive. I leveled up. The message came late at night. I was feeding the baby, scrolling through my phone to stay awake. A new DM popped up from a name I didn't expect to see. Her. The girl he replaced me with. At first, I rolled my eyes and almost ignored it. But something made me open it. Maybe curiosity. Maybe instinct. She started with, I'm so sorry to bother you, but I really need to ask you something. I didn't answer. Then she kept typing. I think he's cheating on me. I found messages with another girl. They've been meeting up for weeks. He says it's not serious. I stared at the screen. My baby was calm in my arms, little fingers clinging to my shirt. She went on. Did he ever cheat on you too? Please be honest with me. I just want to know the truth. And for the first time in months, I laughed. Like really laughed. Quiet, tired, but real. Of course he cheated on her. Of course he lied. She wasn't special. She was just next. I opened my laptop and dragged a folder into a zip file. Screenshots of DMs. Photos from when he said he was working late, but was really with her. Even a video I once took of him flirting on a call, thinking I'd caught something funny. It wasn't funny anymore. I named the file You Wanted Him. I sent it. Just the file. No message. She opened it almost immediately. A minute passed. Then another. And then, OMG. I had no idea. I feel so stupid. Then, he's been doing the same thing to me. Another pause. Then, I'm leaving. I'm done. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. The next morning, her photos with him were gone. Relationship status changed. His account, silent. Later that week, his cousin posted a cryptic story. Karma always finds the clowns. He lost her. Just like he lost me. But this time, I didn't feel sad. I didn't feel anything for him at all. I looked at my baby playing with a spoon, smiling like nothing in the world could touch us. He wanted to live like consequences didn't exist. Now he could live alone with them. I didn't want to take him to court. Not at first. But every time he tried to play victim online, every time he told people I kept his son from him, every time his mother called to guilt-trip me, it pushed me closer. I was done being quiet. I was done being painted as the crazy one. So I hired a lawyer. She was sharp, calm, and didn't blink when I told her everything. She just asked, "Do you have proof?" I nodded. I had texts, voice messages, screenshots, photos. I had the voicemail from the night he made me leave in the rain. You could hear my baby crying in the background. You could hear him say the words, "I never wanted this kid anyway." That one was my favorite. When we filed for full custody and child support, he tried to act shocked. He told anyone who would listen that I was vindictive, that I was using the courts to punish him. But in front of the judge, his charm cracked. My lawyer laid everything out, neatly, clearly, without emotion. His online posts mocking baby mamas. His new girlfriend's videos of her partying in our house. while my son's toys sat in the background. The messages where he told me to figure it out when I asked for help with diapers. He tried to talk. He stammered through excuses. He blamed stress, depression, everyone but himself. The judge wasn't impressed. They looked at me, calm, steady, holding a file full of truth. Then they looked at him, sweating, squirming, eyes darting around like he wanted to disappear. I was awarded full legal and physical custody. He'd get supervised visits, twice a month, in a facility. He was ordered to pay child support. On time. No exceptions. When the judgment was read, he broke. His face crumpled right there in court. He covered his eyes and sobbed into his hands. I didn't even look at him. I just gathered my papers, stood up, and walked out of the courtroom. Outside, I sat on a bench, let the sun hit my face, and breathed in deep. It wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about safety, about peace, about protecting the only person who ever truly needed me. He had every chance, and he threw it away. Now I had everything I deserved, and he had exactly what he earned. It came in a plain white envelope. No return address, just my name written in shaky handwriting. I knew it was from him before I even opened it. I sat at the kitchen table, my baby in his high chair beside me, smearing banana on his cheeks and giggling like the world was brand new. I opened the letter slowly, not because I cared what it said, but because I wanted to see just how low he'd try to go this time. The first line read, "I don't know where to begin, but I miss you more than I can explain." I didn't need to read the rest. It was all going to be the same: apologies, excuses, rewrites of history. He was sorry. He was confused. He missed our family. He wanted to do better. I folded the letter once and slid it under the baby's sippy cup to catch the drips. He kept tipping it over, watching the water run across the table like a game. The paper started to absorb it, edges curling, ink bleeding. The baby laughed. I smiled. Later, after I wiped my son's hands and changed his diaper, I scooped the soggy letter off the table, still stained with juice and crumbs, and dropped it into the trash bag along with the diaper. No ceremony. No second thoughts. It didn't deserve more than that. He thought words on paper could fix what he broke. But I remembered every night I cried in silence, rocking our baby alone. I remembered being told to leave like I was trash. I remembered watching rain hit the motel window while my baby slept beside me, both of us wrapped in a blanket we used to share as a family. A letter wouldn't change any of that. I stood in the quiet kitchen, dishes in the sink, cartoons playing softly in the background, and felt something strange, something like peace. Not joy, not revenge, just stillness. Like the part of me that had been bracing for one more hit, one more lie, had finally let go. I didn't need his guilt. I didn't want his words. He could keep his regrets. I had something better, freedom. And a son who didn't need to grow up watching his mother beg to be loved. That letter was the last thing he ever sent me, and it was used exactly as it deserved, to soak up a mess I didn't make. It happened on a quiet afternoon. The sun was coming through the window just right, painting the floor with soft golden light. I had music playing low in the background, the kind that fills the room without getting in the way. My baby was standing by the couch, holding onto the edge like he always did. But this time, something felt different. He looked at me, his tiny fingers letting go slowly, like he was testing the air. I grabbed my phone almost on instinct and hit record. "Come on, baby," I said softly, kneeling just a few feet away. "Come to mama." His face lit up, wide-eyed and proud, like he knew something big was about to happen. Then it happened. One step, wobbly but strong. Then another, and another. He fell into my arms with a laugh, and I held him close, my heart beating so fast I could barely breathe. I kissed the top of his head, his soft curls warm against my lips. And then I cried. Not because I was sad, not because I missed anyone, but because I had everything I needed right here. No one else was there to see it. No father clapping from the sideline. No family cheering in the background. Just me. Just him. And it was perfect. I watched the video again later, sitting on the couch with my baby asleep on my chest. His first steps caught forever in my phone. I thought about how he'd never know the full story. Not yet. How he'd never know that the man who gave him his name wasn't there for this moment. And how that man would never get it back. He would never feel this weight in his arms. He would never hear that little laugh when those first steps turned into a fall. He gave that up. He threw it away. I looked down at my son and whispered, "You and me, we've already won." Because we had. No court paper, no apology, no letter could ever give him this memory. It was mine. Ours. And it was more than enough.